I think this is one of the questions that has emerged. If you go back 2 years ago, people were talking about, is it scalable? Can it be made PCI compliant? Is it reliable? Those questions have changed now. The questions that we're seeing now aren't around security. You know, if the cloud was insecure, we would see headlines every day about, you know, these companies being hacked and cloud being compromised. We haven't seen that. So I think that those type of concerns have changed. I think now that the concerns that we start to see now are things around vendor lock-in. So in other words, you know, should one go and use a cloud provider that is locked into, say, a particular vendor, be it Microsoft, VMware, or so on? And the key for me is that I think that the competition landscape is changing. Whereas before we would see competition being other hosting providers, I think in cloud the competition landscape is going to become Google, Microsoft, Amazon. Those are the big companies that are actually starting to bet their companies and big parts of their budgets on cloud. And I think that the reason that these companies are very strong competition for someone like Rackspace is because they have the capability to drive cost out and commoditize cloud services. So, you know, from my perspective, vendor lock-in is very, very important, but really companies should be looking at what's going to happen 5 years out and whether or not the very, very relatively high license costs that people like Microsoft and VMware make out of their products are really long-term sustainable. And to some extent, that's the reason that Rackspace went and created this project that we call OpenStack, which is where we took our technology and open sourced it to a community. And we've found that vendors like Microsoft, like Intel, like Dell have joined this community along with some of our competitors. And it allows them to go and use our open source technology that we have built over the years and go and create either their own internal public clouds or alternatively use our technology as a competitor to Rackspace. I think the other challenge moving forward is going to be in terms of what differentiates the providers and the vendor lock-in is, can you provide the levels of service that you actually need? Because the moment that you start putting 100, 200,000 applications on a cloud infrastructure, if that cloud infrastructure goes wrong, you need to respond to those 200 or 100,000 customers. So that is about resourcing. It's about, do you have the processes in place? Do you really, really understand what Rackspace calls fanatical support and delighting its customers? Because it's when it goes wrong that it's important. And I think that is where probably Rackspace in the future will differentiate itself in the marketplace.